Good afternoon, everybody, on this gorgeous day. It's been a while. I did this live on Wednesday night, but due to some technical hitches, it was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I couldn't really concentrate with all the background noise. So here I am, as promised, a little late in the day, but we've got some fantastic writes for you. We've got depression, loss, lust, all sorts. So I hope you're all well, and I hope you enjoy the writes that I'm going to read for you. So without further ado, the first one is by James Geering, and it's called Sunset. Baby blues and powder pink with blush of roses red. The autumn sky at dusk appears like watercolours bled, fading into mauvish greys, night falls like charcoal dust. The shiny metal of the day now shows as faded rust. How rich the heavens' colours, just before the night removes all traces of identities held by night's defining hues. The blanket of the evening slowly pulled to cover tight the slumbering form of yesterday as it dreams of dawn's first light. James Geering is relatively newcomer to Dark Poetry Society. I love his writing, I really do. He really makes you feel that you're there, very visual. His Facebook page is called I, Mind and Pen, and he is featured a Poet of the Week on the 4th of March, so watch out for him then. The next one is by Julia Pellegrini, and she writes beautifully, and this is no exception. It's called Her Alpha. She outruns the night, soaring towards her adoring alpha, leader of a wolf pack, drawing me inside a dark fairy tale of his savage love. Sets my soul on fire, melting me in wicked ways. Soft howls echo, you are mine. Eyes blazing with passion, heart embracing me in its warmth, running his tongue along my soul as I drip with fervent desire. Just for you, all yours, possessed by his love. He craves my wild, sweet darkness, intoxicating scent of bamboo and leather. I long to drown in him. Ecstatic vibrations pulling the tide to our climatic shore. Well, Julia, that was a bit of a sexy one. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Look out for Julia. She's admin in the Poetry Labyrinth, and she writes some amazing stories, poems, etc. It's a little difficult not having an audience, really. I'd rather be live, but if I went live today, I can't be sure as to who will be listening, if anyone. So, and I promised these poets I would read for them. I do take it very, very seriously when I read for you guys. Thank you for trusting my voice with your words. The next one is Switchblade Beauty, and this is by Jerry Langdon. He's got 5 published books. He's editor of Raven Cage, Dark Poetry Society eZine, and is going to be doing our amazing anthology, which closing date for invited members is the 31st of March, and the remaining members of the group are welcome then to submit their rights 1st to the 30th of April. We expect it to be out late May, mid-June-ish. No set date as yet, but please get your rights in. The theme, which is from sunset to sunrise and everything in between, does leave it quite open, to be honest. So get your 3 rights across to DPS Anthology @gmail.com. Look forward to seeing them. Now, Jerry said about this switchblade beauty, sometimes a conceived beauty can make you feel so breathless, you feel like you might die. Switchblade beauty is about such a perception. So here we go. Oh, that look is killing me. Beauty in the first degree. Slow down on that fast track. I think I'm having a heart attack. My eyes can't keep up, but won't let go. I'm dizzy from how your beauty flows. Smooth as satin and just as fine. You're murder by design. If I don't make it through the night, death can come, I won't put up a fight. Switchblade love sinking deep. On a razor's edge, I can't sleep. Beauty in the first degree. You're just killing me. I love that. Jerry writes usually very, very darkly, but I really do love this. I don't know what you guys think, but Jerry's also a great poet. We're so lucky there's so much talent in DPS. It's crazy. Our team as well. Our team are all very, very talented. And the following lady, Nora, is no different. Now, Nora Salam, you might know as Nora Raw Diamond, has just opened a group and it's called Special Needs Quill. It's a poetry group to create awareness about disorders. Thereafter, topics will grow to other pertinent needs. So check it out, Special Needs Quill. Nora's been published in Raven Cage, DPS Zine, and I'm sure she'll be in the anthology. This one is untitled, and it's a beautiful poem. It's the smiling soul of love and praise fecundity that breeds fertility of gratitude. Surely a garden forever in bloom, a season everlasting perfumed in radiant serenity, wonder and light. It's how bare souls are ignited, in the warmth nourished by the rains, and in turn grow their souls as gardens of love, which soften yet another pair of tormented eyes. Nora is not scared about writing about any subject, some which are quite sensitive as well, and you need to check her out. She was featured as Poet of the Week this weekend. Really, really lovely lady too. Don't know if you're aware, but the e-sign has just been printed. The optional theme was Cupid's Unchained Melodies, and we got 207 pages of some amazing rights that's just been published. It's available on Amazon in black and white, colour or Kindle, and if you don't want to buy it, it's not a problem. Check at the top of the group files and you'll find it there with all the other back editions. I get really dry throat when you read so much. Okay, the next one has a trigger for language, and it's a collaboration between myself and Carl Butler. Now, I don't often write, but this just came flowing one night, and it's about a particularly tough time in my life, which is still going on, but more prevalent up to and including Christmas. So this is from the heart, and it's called Vicissitudes by myself and Carl Butler. Fathomless depths of nothing. Doubting my existence means something. Constantly fighting with the demonic presence. Losing me, bit by bit, my very essence. No interest in the slightest nuance. Like my brain fucked off playing the truant. The deepest, dark depths, no glimmer of light. It will be so damn easy to end this life. Strife cuts like a knife. Give me a pittance of good news. I got the depression, rhythm and blues. Help me. No, don't. I have to do it on my own, alone. I want me back, but I'm under attack. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Just visions, dark water that can't escape from the funnel. I'll take any help just to be my happy self again. Disdain creeps up on my tired brain. Joyful times I impersonate, but in vain. This dragon rules, when will it be slain? More than an existence, I want to live again. Achievements, not vicissitudes and shame. Why at these times do I always take the blame? Like a phoenix, I want to rise from the flames. I've done my penance. Now please, let me smile again. This was a very deep one and a very sad one for me, and it's about depression, as you've probably gathered. Something that a lot of people go through. Some don't know it, some choose not to acknowledge it, but you should. At the end of the day, there's only you that can get you through it. So I hope that hit a chord with a few people, and I hope you enjoyed it. Carl, as you know, is a prolific writer. He's written his, I think, 5th book. I'm going to start editing his 2nd book very shortly. His 1st book released last September, My Black Swan Calling. His 2nd one, My Black Swan Evolution. And his 3rd book is going to be called Webbed Feet and Wellies, and includes the saga of Subumble. It's going to be a children's book. The man is a literary machine. I cannot keep up with him, but he's an amazing person, friend, and group owner. Ooh, blimey. The next one was a real challenge for me, because I'm slightly dyslexic and this is very wordy. It's from Gavin Prinsloo. Even the read up, make of it what you will. Gavin has published Pieces of My Mind and is publishing his 2nd book, I think, in the next few months or so. And he says about this poem: this poem was inspired by the X-Files, about the plausibility of alien life, influencing human development and their apparent lack of empathy. A grey presence represents the actual aliens, and the gullibility refers to the powers that be that enforce plausible denial, the method used by governments to confuse the issue by using possibly to deny their actual existence. I assume in this piece that the aliens are influencing mankind with the rise and fall of civilizations. Sorry, I need a quick drink before I read this one. Okay. Gullibility versus empathy. Are they real? By Gavin Prinsloo. A belief based upon the expectations of a mental acuity. Emotion dispossessed from plausibility. Knowledge elevated to irrefutable fact. Plausible in its denial and warped in its conviction. It is wrapped in rhetoric and allegory. A grey presence with an intangible will, camouflaged by an indefatigable intention, empirical in its certainty. Logistically, a force beyond nature. The ivory towers are cracking and crumbling under the assault of an extraneous conviction. Alien, its nature, defeating empathy and its brutality, and gullibility fed with the wealth of invention. As ivory towers crumble, unseen hands construct a new parable in the distance of perception. A new dispensation, empathy dampened by anonymity, and truth determined in its entirety by ineffability. To me, that's more of a sort of a statement of sort of a belief. I don't think I probably did that as much justice as I could. in all honesty, that was a real challenge to read, and I hope you're happy with that, Gavin. It's very, very important to me that I do the best I can for you. It really is. You know, a lot goes into VocalPoint, so you send your writes in. I do choose some writes from group, and then I usually read 12 or 13 in an hour 10 minutes. Unfortunately, with me not having the time, I can't do this every week as I used to do. So those writes are building up, and I do promise everybody that's sent a writing they will get read. I then handwrite every single write out. That one helps me connect with it, and two, I have my own sort of language. So for example, if I felt inflection is needed in a word, I'll put an arrow up or down, that type of thing. So it does help me connect with it. And obviously I read from it because I can't learn them all off by heart, unfortunately. And then the red. So quite a simple process apart from the writer's cramp. Okay, the next guy doesn't need much of an introduction. You'll all know him very well. Jeff Stinson, aka Jimmy Broccoli. Damaged, his first full collection, was released December 2021. He's got a spotlight anthology which will feature all his favourite poets that is out approximately mid-March. And here is what he's got to say before I read the write, and it's a very emotional one too, and a personal one. Hymn is a love story, but not a traditional one. The poem opens with the death of the partner of the poem's narrator. It is later revealed the situation is an assisted suicide. Hymn is a tale of love, grief, regret and agony. Hymn is the love story no one expects. Hymn by Jimmy Broccoli. You fell asleep gently, my love. I covered you before the ambulance arrived. They took me away too, because I couldn't stop screaming. Loving you was my life's symphony. On this black occasion, your family is here. I dress in blue because it was your favourite colour. I reread your poems by the gravel and grass. And the minister and the amazing grace and the motherfucking coffin. Don't leave me. Your mother's awful dress and the eulogy. Don't talk about how good he was. He was bad at almost everything. But he loved me. No, shut up, I won't buy your wreath or your flowers to be draped upon his grave. They aren't beautiful enough. If you knew him, you'd understand. You kicked him out at 16 because he loved me. Applause that you come around years later. You never held his thoughts as he crumbled into darkness. Don't talk about him like you knew him. My sunrise was his, and his sunset whispers my name. Oh, my sweetheart, my darling. I bought you Yoda pyjamas because he was your favourite. An unwrapped gift, but you would have laughed. I would have snapped a photo, and our friends on Facebook would have smiled. I lay upon your cold grave, my 98.6 degrees keeping you warm. You are my home, my heart, my everything, and I do not get up. Ooh, sorry. When I cry, or when I get emotional, it genuinely is real. That hit home very, very much It really did. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful write, but heartbreakingly sad. The next one is quite sad too. This is by Lisa White, and it's called Memories. She was the mist of breath when it was cold, momentary and fleeting in my heart. Though in my mind she has yet to grow old, and I weave her within all of my art. Grief struck so many years ago, it seems, though I hear her and see her at every turn, especially during night in my dreams, when the silence hears the heart and its yearn. I carry you now within my own heart, so wherever I may go, you're with me, though I know that loss is always a part of life, whatever reasons there may be. My heart forever aches without you here, so your memory is what I hold dear. Excuse me, frog in my throat. I'm not sure who that's about or if it's real, but it's a very pretty poem. Very pretty poem. So I hope you're all enjoying it so far. We've got quite a mixed bag tonight. We've still got a couple of sad ones to come. I can't tell you how much I love reading poetry. And I try to put my all into it. I do try. I hope to be professional one day, but let's wait and see. Time's running out. It's not on my side anymore. But there we go. So, Andy S. May. Andy is not really a prolific poet in group at all. He's a bit like me. He sort of writes occasionally. But when he does write, he writes a beautiful poem. The biggest challenge I ever had was reading Shadow Dancer by him. Some of you may have heard it. I play two people, the murderer and the victim. The victim gets killed, the murderer gets his prize. That was so tough and took weeks and weeks to perfect. And it's not perfect, but that was one of the things that made me realise that maybe I do have a talent for this. But I'll let you all be the judges of that. So there's a trigger with this one. It's called Inside You by Andy S. May. My heart is beating like a drum. I can't stop these feelings when they come. The tingling from my head to my toes, and the anticipation as it grows. I'm wantonly drunk on your sexual desire. I can't wait to stoke your raging fire. Hypnotised by your womanly charms as you entice me with open arms. Breasts as soft as feather pillows rise and fall like sacred billows. Fingertip caresses across velvet skin follow a path where secrets lie within. I'll unlock your innermost taboos, for I'm an artist worshipping his muse. My soul illuminates and my breath sighs. Heaven is a place between your thighs. Entering your cauldron of sinful lust, trying to control the urge to combust. Exertions heighten as we climax on cue. There's no better feeling than when I'm inside of you. Oh, that was a bit of a sexy one. I've not known Andy to write a lot of really sexy ones actually, so I don't know what was on there. Midlife crisis, Andy? I know don't think he'll mind me saying that. So, VocalPoint. Please send your emails, your amazing poetry to vocalpointspoken@gmail.com, and it will get read. I've been inundated recently. I don't think I've ever had so many in my inbox, and it's difficult because I don't get to do this much as I would like to, or have time to do. And a new job soon probably means it's going to be about once a month, so bear with me, guys. Okay, the next one is by John Hurley. I'm sure that you're all aware of him in group. He has a real knack and talent of making you feel that you're actually in that poem. His images are so vivid. He's an amazing writer in my mind. And in the by and by, he says there's a tribute to all those who suffer from Alzheimer's and those family members who have to witness the sadness of a long goodbye. I've had slight experience of this, and it's very, very sad. It really is. Sorry, just checking my heating's on. It's gone a bit chilly. So, John is an essayist and poet. He's published 2 books of travel essays and 6 collections of poetry. 2 of them uniquely sonnets, 1 of haikus and tankas. You can get them on Amazon. One is called A Second Heart, and Wind and Rain is his book of sonnets. Now this is more of a story. Please bear with me. A very, very dry mouth. Okay. In the by and by, John Hurley. The old man sat in his rocking chair and gazed about, hardly seeing much at all, on his face a lingering pout. The twilight sun descended, burnt-eyed, like malediction. The dusk-like moon rose sadly and full, like benediction. The weary revenant returns as a pale ghost from the past, as though coming home one final time and hoping it to last. A book lay half opened, half read, resting on his lap. The sculptured beard adorned a sleepy head, ready to nap. Ah, the luxury of slipping into and out of day's reality. One of the compensations afforded to the old age mentality. Why do we hurry ourselves through the years, ever in a rush, while the snail goes about its business as though in a hush? A visitor sat on the porch fence, whittling shape into a stick, listening to the banter as a candle burned down on its wick. Random sagebrush hustled along, hurriedly by a restless wind. Dust devils followed in their wake, only to add to their chagrin. Morning shadows shortened, then lengthened on the ground. No doubt about it, like always, the day was now closing down. I'm fixing to die, he finally said. Got a cancer neath the skin. He looked blankly at the visitor, then passed on a simple grin. For one brief moment he seemed a schoolboy making a joke. The cloak of age returned, and he was again just an old bloke. The sagging flesh hung off his bones as if they would never stop. The cottage dark against the fading sun, a depthless stage prop. The visitor seemed familiar, but he couldn't recall how or when. Many an odd stranger came into his life and ended up a friend. These were homespun people who lived and died on the land. Years passed like sagebrush, and nothing happened very grand. No use fussing, he said, with the cat's whiskers wet with milk. Then he stroked his white beard tenderly, as though it were silk. The visitor said nothing, just kept whittling on that stick. You would think he was building up a barrier, brick by brick. Truth to tell, there was a comfortable reality between the two. Even their silences spoke volumes. The words needed were few. The old man couldn't remember who he was, but now didn't care. The mood at twilight between friends, a warm cloak ready to wear. If you see my son, the old man said, plainly now as an afterthought, tell him I got myself a cancer. Ain't something I might have bought. Might not have bought indeed, but perhaps a gift of another kind. As a fact, not a fear, to put the old man into the right frame of mind. The old man looked off to the horizon and now seemed to drift away. A loon called out in the trees, as if to give the visitor a reason to stay. The visitor stood up. Time to take leave, as the twilight allowed. Goodbye, Dad, he thought, but it would be useless to say aloud. The old man didn't remember who he was, and never would. The son to the father, a stranger who slipped in and out of the wood. So long, partner, the visitor said softly. See you later in the by and by. The vapours of dusk rose against the blue, black plate of the night sky. I think the build up to that is quite melancholy, sets the scene. And the last two paragraphs, bam, straight in the heart. A beautiful write, John, who I think mentioned he's seen his mum go through this, and I had a very brief experience of my granddad with this as well, and it's really sad. Fabulous write, fabulous write. Right, okay, we've got Richard Lamoureux next. He has Dummy, which is available on Rakuten and Kobo, also Apple Books, and its title is Hurting and Healing Words. Richard, again, is another fabulous writer who really paints a picture, and I know I keep banging on about it, but there's so much talent in the group. It's absolutely unbelievable. It really is. And I'm humbled that you choose to come to our humble home. We do try our best to keep it an inclusive, safe, fun community. And I'm very proud of what myself, Carl, and the team have built. Richard Lamoureux, Chained and Mail. Inside this body, behind these eyes, I never feel good enough. My internally held lies. I struggle with questions, the who's, what's and why's. My sinking feeling says, I'm not much of a prize. The who that I am, the who that I want to be. Somewhere in between is the middle finger in me. My pulling and ripping to set myself free, to become one person instead of these three. Whatever you think, whoever I've become, if tailored to your image, I'd surely be done. I'm not a piece of clothing to be worn by some. Let me sew my own garment, try to see how far I've come. Why, you might ask, don't I want to be you? It's hard to fit your shadow, so I'll be me through and through. It's taken many years to do what I do, my confident best self, no longer stuck in your blue. I think we've all met people like this, haven't we? All met people like that who just make you, no matter how hard you try, make you feel so low, so low that you doubt yourself. A nice Inspiring write, that, Richard. A nice inspiring write. Okay, so DPS, Cupid's Unchained Melodies, is out, published, our first anniversary edition of the e-zine. The e-zine comes out monthly, it's normally digital. You'll find it free with all the back issues in files at the top of group. If you do wish to buy a copy, there is a black and white version, a colour version, available in numerous countries on Amazon, and Kindle. And buy my copy. If you do buy a copy, would you please leave a review? Please. That would be much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, here's my buddy, Carl Butler. And this is called Plastic Flowers. Right. Carl Butler. Was it disingenuous to send you plastic flowers? They were cheaper than a wedding ring and lasted longer than our vows. No fragrances to speak of, as plastic as your words. All colour, flash and seductive charm, so blatantly absurd. They forgot to put the thorns in, because your barbs they surely pricked. Certainly you were good in bed when you did that special trick. But marriage isn't sex alone, and your silk petals, well, they frayed. You found another gardener's bed, and my love you have betrayed. So we are no longer married. We ended in divorce. What did I get from the settlement? Plastic flowers, of course. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, my Black Swan Calling available now from Amazon and all good bookstores. My Black Swan Evolution out certainly in the next couple of months. Please, you know, check Carl out. Everybody used to think all you could write about was nature. Oh no, this guy can write about anything. Believe me, I know, first-hand experience. VocalPoint, we have, I don't know if you know, but we have a YouTube channel. Only 113 subscribers. So the more the merrier. There's some great stuff on there, some great writes. Yes, it's moi reading. So I suppose if you don't like me, you won't subscribe. But it would be nice if you did. Support me, supporting you. Okay. This is the final write, which is by Taylor Newman. Now, I wanted to read one of his, but as a songwriter, I didn't feel that I could read them correctly. You know, they need to be sung, and I'm definitely not singing. That's not something that I can do. Taylor started writing age 4 years. Is a songwriter and co-writer and has also written with and for Alice Cooper, Dee Snider, Lita Ford and more. Taylor has also obviously got a lot of connections, and he's put my voice in front of two decision makers in Los Angeles who apparently were quite impressed by what I do. So although nothing's happened yet, nothing may happen. Thank you, Taylor, for at least, you know, getting me in front of the right people. That's all I could possibly ask for. Fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. Trapped in Black, Taylor Newman. And this is what he says. I personally dedicate the following piece to all others like myself who struggle with finding light within a world of painful, lonely blackness. The very cold blackness within depression's grasp. I often write and share about my own struggle with depression in my attempt to let all others who struggle as well know they're never alone in their pain. My deepest love to you all. Sincerely, Taylor. My experience of Taylor is that he's a really nice guy. He really is. He's lovely. very pleasant guy. And check out his working group. Amazing. And he does all the artwork as well. This is quite a long one. It's a bit of a story, so I'm going to read it as one. Trapped in Black, Taylor Newman. Within this black and lonely place, among the dead and lonely trees, a place where life just can't reside, there lives no birds alive can sing. There sits upon her fragile swing this little girl who doesn't speak, for she shares a dark, cold secret, which only her and silence keeps. In this world of deadened silence, her heart lives but just can't beat. There sits this angel, and all alone, she sits unbroken on her swing. Silence, and so they're sentenced, deep within a land so null and void. And every day she dreams of flying, but flowing tears she can't avoid. And you shall never see her eyes, as they both died and went away. Some things are best if not seen, deep in depression's black decay. Because, you see, within her world, that little secret I had mentioned, that very secret which she keeps, is hung in black, deep depression. And she's unable to try and speak, because darkness took her tongue, robbed her of the will to try and see, and that is why her eyes are gone. It leaves her cold, alone and shaking, and it comes then when it wants. Leaves a mind enough to dream, such a cruel way in which to taunt. Though she'll always be an angel, her broken wings they'll never fly. Thus she just sits upon a swing, she doesn't move, just softly cries. The only things she's got to hold are those chains upon the swing, and a dark old friend, depression, who has taken all but everything. And still, though she wants to fly, just can't bear to leave a swing. Though her feet are off the ground, as close to flight, her wings will see. Within her cold and distant world, it is a place no soul should know. It's the world of black depression, for it can swallow souls up whole. And no, it's not the twilight zone, for no script's been wrote as dark, a hellish script of dark depression, if it's your soul and it takes your heart. And even Mr. Edgar Allan Poe, he never bled his ink whilst in pain. He wrote of darkness he made up. The plain I bleed, it's not the same. All these words which I've written, they're all bled from my own soul. For I am too, one deep in darkness, a hellish blackness I've so known. If there's a moral to this dark story, it is just one that we should know. That even hell knows not the pains, than that of feeling you're all alone. So, to this little angel on a swing, and those whom suffer like myself, no, you're never hurting all alone. Don't put your soul upon hell's shelf. The only ways I've known to fight it, it's when I share my own black pain. For not a hell can know true heaven, until its very pain then falls like rain. Among all pain in which life brings, of the very hardest to try and crack, is when your soul, it has been taken within a world trapped in black. Yeah, I felt that too. I felt that too, very much so. Hence the previous write from myself and Carl. It's a very heartfelt write, Taylor, and you know, he's reaching out and he's saying, you know, we all suffer, we can help each other. Really good write. Well done, Taylor. So, last couple of things. The DPS anthology, a lot of members have initially been invited. Now, when we say invited, these are members that comment, do prompts, get involved in the group. We felt that they should have first dibs. So it's open to invited members and the admin team until the 31st of March. Thereafter, from the 1st of April to 30th of April, it's open to the whole group, all members. And we would love to make this like the anthology of anthologies. There's a lot of groups doing it at the moment, and we're aware that, you know, we're not one of the first, but we want it to be one of the best. So please, please, please submit your rights. VocalPoint will be returning in March, date to be advised. And I'd just like to say thank you to all the poets for trusting my voice. I do take it seriously. I really do enjoy it as well. And I hope at some point this is something that I can do full time. I'd love to. Support me, supporting you. Please subscribe to the VocalPoint channel and show a bit of love. Get your rights into vocalpointspoken@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. It felt a bit strange talking to myself for 46 minutes, but I promised these poets I would do this, and I've done it. Thanks for listening. Take care, guys. All right, bye.